From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Steve Norman reporting, topping the news, recapturing Mosul from the Islamic State. Top U.S. military officials said Thursday Iraqi and Kurdish fighters plan to launch an operation to take back the city of Mosul from the Islamic State fighters. Here's VOA Pentagon correspondent Carla Babb.
U.S. Central Command official said that they are planning to recapture the city of Mosul from Islamic State fighters in the April to May timeframe. They've said that if the Iraqi forces are not ready at that time, that they would be open to pushing this to a later date, but that is what they're shooting for. They're saying that they want to take the city with 20 to 25,000 troops. That would be comprised of about 5 Iraqi brigades, 3 smaller brigades for reserve force, so to speak, 3 Pesmerga brigades to kind of help contain the region from the north and the west, and then also what they're calling a quote-quote Mosul fighting force, which is comprised of police and some tribal units and formal Mosul police as well.
That is VOA's Carla Babb. United States and Turkey signed an agreement to train and equip moderate Syrian rebels fighting the Islamic State terrorist group. U.S. military has said it's planning to send more than 400 American troops. Turkey, which shares a border with Syria, says it hopes the training will also bolster the weakened and divided Syrian opposition in its war against Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. Nigeria's military says it carried out airstrikes on Thursday that struck Boko Haram bases in the northeastern part of the country and killed a large number of militants. The military says after the strikes, many militants were fleeing their bases. There's been no independent confirmation of the military's claim. This is VOA News. President Obama is urging governments to take action to bring an end to violent extremism and conditions that lead to it. VOA's Mary Alice Salinas reports.
President Barack Obama continued a 3-day summit on Thursday where he called on leaders from 60 countries from around the world to join the fight against violent extremism.
It's not a question of Jews or Christians or Muslims. We're all in the same boat, and we have to help each other to get out of this crisis.
U.S. officials say the goal of the gathering is to come up with strategies based on facts and realities that nations can implement together to end violent extremism. More regional meetings are expected in coming months. Mary Alice Salinas, the State Department.
Ukrainian military spokesman says pro-Russia separatists fired on Ukrainian positions repeatedly in the overnight hours despite a ceasefire that came into effect 5 days ago. There were separate reports of fighting near Mariupol on Thursday, with the rebels shelling a nearby village. Mariupol was the scene of intense fighting last year before Ukrainian forces took control of the city. On Thursday, the leaders of Ukraine, Russia, France, and Germany pledged renewed support for the ceasefire in eastern Ukraine. 4 leaders who negotiated the truce condemned the fighting and urged both sides to observe the ceasefire, which has seen a series of violations. A new study is confirming malaria resistant to most effective current treatment, and it's spreading across Myanmar, also known as Burma. VOA's Steve Herman has details.
Public health specialists are raising alarm because a resistant strain of malaria has reached close to Myanmar's border with India. This has been revealed in a study in a medical journal. Its senior author is Charles Woodrow of the Mahidol Oxford Tropical Medicine Research Unit in Bangkok.
To see the levels of resistant parasites that we do, extending that far sort of north and close to the border, was to some degree a surprise.
Woodrow says researchers confirmed resistant parasites just 25 kilometers from the Indian border. Researchers fear the parasites will follow the trajectory of previous drug-resistant strains that eventually migrated all the way to Africa, ruining the opportunity to eradicate malaria. Steve Herman, VOA News, Bangkok.
Two massive tropical cyclones smashed into northern Australia today. Cyclone Lam hit a sparsely populated stretch of the Northern Territory, followed a few hours later by the more powerful Cyclone Marcia, which crossed over small towns along the east coast of Queensland state, with winds gusting to 285 kilometers per hour. Forecasters say Marcia is a Category 5, Lam a Category 4.
That's the latest world news from VOA.